Okay, so I'm going to shift gears and I'm going to leave Paladin and come into Kali. I know that we use the Paladin version of Autopsy, which was a couple versions later than the Autopsy version in Kali, but the Kali build actually has quite a few more forensics tools than Paladin. So we're going to go ahead and do this so we can explore the tools. And I'm just going to boot into Kali normal, not forensic mode, so we have internet connectivity. Okay, so this will just take a minute to boot up. Okay, so just to locate all the forensics applications, not only are there forensics applications here, but there's all sorts of security related stuff. But the forensics applications are here. But we're not only going to use forensics applications here, we're actually going to go through a lot of these here just to kind of take a look at them. Okay, so let's get started now. And I'm going to first go to the information gathering section. And we're going to run Dimitri specifically. And you notice on these tools it's going to give you a nice help screen when you first run it to get you started. So there is actually quite a bit you can do with this tool. And sometimes in an investigation you want to know the owner of a domain because maybe it's part of your investigation. So you can actually find that out. And this will actually hit who is. And let's go ahead and see what it has to say about this site. And you'll notice it came up with actually quite a bit of information. Okay, and if you're investigating this website, or if this website, I should say domain, if this domain is part of what you're looking at, you really need to know all of this. Okay, it tells you the owner, well, the domain name, it was purchased through GoDaddy. It gives you all of the DNS server information. And actually, you can continue this by going directly to a whois lookup site. But this kind of gets you started. Okay, so there's actually lots more you can do besides just a whois. Okay, so it gives me the IP address of this domain, and it'll actually look for subdomains. If this particular, if I had a subdomain in front of ricklineker.com, it would give me that. So what you would do is you would put this into your record, and there are actually websites online. Let me go ahead and we should be able to find out where that is located. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to have to go to terminal and okay, let me go ahead and type that in by hand. Okay, 50.63.196.51, and I should be able to find out where it's located. Even though it's one of my servers, I don't actually know where it's located. Okay, so I got it through GoDaddy. They have a big footprint in Scottsdale, Arizona, so that's where their data center must be. Okay, so that's just more information that you can use for your report. Okay, so we've already looked up the IP, we've looked up the domain, the whois information for domain. Okay. All right, so let's look for the netcraft.com information on the host. So Dimitri -n Fineoccur.com. Okay, didn't actually find a lot there. Okay, let's perform a search for possible subdomains. So the only subdomain this should have is www. So it's really not going to find a whole lot. I guess it, oh yeah, I see. I did create a couple for my classes at UCF. So I do have a number of subdomains that I found that I forgot about. How about that? Okay. So how about email addresses? This is super valuable. Looks like it's still searching. So it does a search. Don't think I have any email addresses for that. So now this next one is a little bit dangerous. Do a TCP port scan on the host. So the reason it's dangerous is because it's illegal. I'm not suggesting that you do anything illegal, but this is my server and I can do anything I want to it, including totally trash it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and break out of there. This is probably going to take a while. So anyway, if you have anything to do with examining or investigating a domain or an IP address, Dimitri is a great tool.
Hi everyone, welcome to our MultiGo client training video. So we're going to show you how to use the client, some of the features that you might not have seen before, and ways that we generally use it to be a little bit more efficient. So in this case I'm going to be using MultiGo Community Edition, so the free version, and I'm just using the latest that we have. You'll see here I'm going to start it up. So one of the first things you'll see when you open the Community Edition is that you need to register. That you can do on our website. You can also download the application from our website, and it should be quite a painless process. So once the application starts up, the first thing it's going to ask you is just that you log in if you haven't logged in before. So we haven't. So here's the wizard. So I'm going to click next. It's going to ask me to log in with my email address and password. Just going to do that. Fill in the captcha, and it will say that I've now got an API key that's valid for 3 days. So in 3 days time I'll just have to log in again, but it shouldn't take too long or too much time. The next section will ask you if you want to use the public servers or if you have your own. Most of the time you'll just pick public servers, hit next, and it will now install all the transforms, and we'll cover what those are a little bit later. So here it copies, installs all of that, adds the entities, and then it will ask us what we want to do. In this case, I'm going to pick go away, and we're going to start from a blank install. So I'm going to say go away, I've done this before, just so that we can do everything like the very first time. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when using MultiGo, so it's a graphing application that allows you to do link analysis, and it also will help you mine particular types of data, is I want to start a new graph. So you should think of a graph as either an investigation or a part of an investigation. So one of the ways that you can start a new graph is click on the global application icon. That's at the top left. I'm just going to maximize that. And you can say new, and that will start a graph. And you'll see that once you've got a graph, the whole outlook of the application changes. The palette where we have entities is there, and the other windows come to life. Another way that you can do it is you can just click on the little icon next to the application icon. Click on that, that'll start one. And the shortcut that we use most of the time is that you can just use Control T or Command T on a Mac. Okay, and that will start a new graph as well. So once you've started a graph, so remember that can be thought of like an investigation or part of an investigation. On the left, you'll see that this under the palette is all of our different types of information. So these are called entities in MultiGo. So they are categorized into a few sections here. So you can see under location, under personal, there's a few. And if I want to use this type of information, all I need to do is drag it onto the graph. So for example, if I want to add a person here, I can drag this person entity. You'll see it follows my mouse cursor, and I can drop it onto the graph. Okay, I can do the same. So add a location, maybe add a domain as well. And now I have these entities on my graph. So the first thing you'll see that if you've selected something, this little yellow box, you can just drag it around the graph to be able to put it wherever you want that. Okay, if I need to change the type of information, so I've added a person here, but obviously John Doe is not someone that I either have the data for or I'm interested in getting data for. I can do that by double clicking on it, and you'll see you get quite a big detail view. You can change the details of this particular entity. You can click properties, nodes and attachments, things that we'll do a little bit later. One of the ways we generally don't do that, so the way that we do change the information is that we'll just double click on the text, and then I can change it just a lot quicker than going into that view the whole time. So I change my person entity to my name, and the location I might change to Cape Town. Okay, now I have these entities modified. If I want to link the entities together, so remember it's a linking tool to get that intelligence, what I can do is make sure that none are selected that I'm interested in, and then drag a line from the first entity that I want to link to the second one. So here you can see I'm going to drag from my name down to the location, and if I let go, it will then give me the properties for that link. So I can say it lives here, and I can give it something like a color. I can set style and thickness and other properties. Okay, so there it will change it. I can also say link maybe me to that domain, and I can start building up a graph from various types of information. So that's a nice way to be able to add information to your graph, change the details, and then quickly link them together to build a view. Welcome back. In this section, we're going to start talking about navigation and selection within the tool. And these are things that really make using MultiGo powerful, being able to efficiently use the interface to navigate it, manage your selections, and so on. So the first thing that you'll want to do is you'll be able to zoom in and out of a graph. So to do that, we recommend you just use the scroll wheel. So I can put the mouse cursor on a particular entity, so type of information, and I can scroll into that bit of information. So if I want to scroll into this particular location, I can then scroll into it. I can also scroll out by zoom out by scrolling out. Okay, so I can scroll or zoom into that particular entity, and I can do that again. You'll also see in this view on the right, the overview over here, the satellite view as it was previously called, you'll see that that shows me how big my selection is. So if I zoom in, you'll see that that box is now made smaller, and we'll talk about that just now. Okay, so once you've managed to zoom in, you'll see that when you zoom out, as soon as you basically can't read the entities anymore, they will change to icons, and there's a legend at the bottom that describes what type each entity is. So here I can see that these orange ones at the bottom are all a location, and if I zoom in, you'll see that those are actually locations. Okay, so the next thing is being able to move around the graph. To do that, you use right click and drag. Okay, so now I can move around. So if I'm zoomed in, I can go through each of these entities and I can have a look at them up close. Additionally, I can use the satellite view, so now I can see the section that I'm looking at, and I can drag that around this and move the whole graph around. Okay, so this really becomes second nature after you've used the tool for a little bit. And if, however, you don't want to do that, you can also use the buttons at the top, so you can manually zoom in and zoom out. But we prefer using the mouse, and it really does make the tool a lot quicker to use. The next section is selecting entities. If I want to do that, I can just click on an entity. You'll see that now it's highlighted over there. If I want to select another entity, what I can do is hold down Shift. If I hold down Shift, click on the second one, you'll see that two entities are highlighted. So if I've got just one entity highlighted, the detail view will show me relationships between this entity and any other information. And if I have more than one, so if I've selected one, use Shift, select another one, you'll see that it gives it to me in a list form of every entity that I've got. Okay, if I want to select entities, I can also drag a box around them. So there you see me dragging a box, and I'll select those two. So for example, if I wanted to select all the IP addresses here, what I could do is just drag a box around those, and then I can use those for whatever I need to. And then you can see the detail view showing me that list again. I can also navigate up and down the various trees that are created in the tool. So I can click on this entity, and if I use control and down arrow, I'll be able to select its child nodes, or control up arrow, select its parent, the parent nodes of whatever is selected. So I could take all of these IP addresses and say I'd like to know the locations that they are, and I can see that those are the child nodes, so I can just press control down arrow. Okay. Additionally, what I could do is I can say, okay, I don't only want to select the children, I want to retain the selection that I've got and select the children. So if I wanted to say select this tree, everything from this entity, I could use control and shift. Okay, so that will retain my selection, and if I press down arrow, that will select the children of that entity. If I do it again, I will select the child nodes of those entities that are selected. So then I can have the whole tree that I've got there. And most of the time that we do this, we've got a section, so you can see me dragging it around. What we'll do is I'll put it into a new graph, just something that you can then work on just that small subset of data. The last thing I just want to show in this section is that you can also find in your nodes. So under the Investigate tab at the top here, you can click on Quick Find. However, most of the time we just use Control F, so the same as in normal applications. And here I can say I can find either the name of an entity or of a particular type. So here I'll search everything for, say, the word Andrew. If I hit find, you'll see that it's found that particular entity. So once it's found that, you'll see that it zooms to that selected entity or entities that there are, and then I can use that. I can also select entities based on the type. So if I'm zoomed out, I can say, okay, I'm interested in all the IP addresses, so all these purple ones here. What I can do is at the top under the Investigate tab again, I can say select by type, and then say IP address, and there you'll see it selects those and zooms me into making sure that I can see all the nodes that are selected on the screen, and then I can use those. So in this section, we're going to quickly look at putting data into the tool, as well as quickly being able to take data out. So one of the ways we already covered earlier, it's in the first section, is that we can manually add data. So I could add a few entities here, and then I could link them up together. So that's the basic way of manually adding something to the graph, and one of the things that you can do if you have the data. However, if you do have the data stored on your machine, so for example, I've got a text file here that says Andrew McPherson, Rudolph Temming, Paul Richards, and Andrew Mohawk, the first three being the names of people who work at Paterva, and the last one being my alias. So if I select these and I just copy, edit, Control C, and I go into the tool, what I can do is I can hit paste, okay, and you will see that I will get those entities out. Okay, I'm going to select them and delete them, just using the delete key. Or what I could do is, because they've been copied, I can just click on the graph, Control V, and then they will appear. So yeah, you can see it automatically tries to figure out what type they are. So there it's made those three people, and obviously it doesn't know that this is an alias because it could be anything, and it's made it a phrase. So one of the things that you can do after you've copied into the graph is have the ability to change it. So if you have the entities that you wish to change selected, what you can do is right click on it, and you see there's going to be a whole bunch of new things, and these are for running transforms, something that we'll get to in the next section. But what I can do is I can say select the one that I want to change, right click, go over the change type icon, so you'll see it's the third one. If I click on that, it'll say what do you want to change this to, and I can say, okay, well, I want to change this to an alias, and there I have that as an alias. So it's quite easy to copy in and out of the tool. What I can do is I can select these. Let's say I was interested in taking this data out of the tool, so I want to use it in a report, I want to email it to someone. What I can do is select it, and I can either click copy up here and say copy as value list, and that will just take what's shown on the graph. And if I put that into this document, you'll see that those are copied in here. Additionally, I can right click to get that whole screen again, and I can say I can click on copy, and then I can say copy as value list. So you can do it there as well, and then I'll be able to paste that in here, and I have that data in. So it's quite easy to be able to copy data in and out of the tool, and there are a number of shortcuts. So either using the shortcuts up here or being able to use them in the context menu. Lastly, you can obviously put data in by running transforms, and that's what we're going to cover in the next section. Welcome back. This section, we're going to quickly look at transforms in MultiGo. So we've added a whole bunch of stuff manually and been manually linking them together in the tool, which is great and a great way to visualize your data. But really, one of the really powerful features of MultiGo is that you have the ability to mine data within the tool itself. So we do this with something called transforms, which essentially are the glue between two different types of entities. So you can take one type of entity, run a transform, which will then link it to another kind. With the tool standard, it comes with a whole bunch of open source intelligence stuff, so dealing with things like infrastructure and people on the internet. But you can also use the tool to add on third-party add-ons, where people have written different transforms to visualize different data sets. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some of the free ones that Riloff wrote to visualize the movie database. So what I can do is I can just click on the Manage tab and then click on Transform Hub. And this will take me to the hub where I can add different transforms. So I'm going to hover over the movie database, and I'm just going to click on Install. Say yes, I want to install this, and this is just going to automatically install this into the tool for me. So now I'll have the ability to visualize a new type of data, and there you can see it added 3 new entities and a bunch of other things. So I have this data in the tool. So now I'm going to open a new graph, and I'm going to start with a phrase this time. So I'm going to search for something, and I'm going to take a phrase, and I'm going to use the phrase Mad Max. I like the movies, and you'll see that now I can run a transform that says search for movie. So if I right click on it, I get a list of different transforms that are applicable, so the glue between entities for this type of entity. I'm going to say search for movie, and it asks me for an API key. I can put in 5 digits there, and now it will return a whole bunch of entities. So this is where I didn't have to manually do it. It will then go and query this data and return them. And here you can see that I've got Road Warrior, Mad Max, Fury Road, the new one, Turkish Mad Max, and Max and the Junkman. So Max and the Junkman probably not something I'm interested in. So if I just select that, I press delete, say yes, I want to delete it. And now I can work further with these. So you can see these are movies, which by default you don't have until you've installed these add-ons. So now I can say, okay, I take these movies, and I can run a transform that says I want to take it to talent, so just the people who have been in the movies. Put in my API key again. You can just use any 5 digits, and now it will then go and return the top 12 people from the movies. So there you see that they are being visualized, and now I can see them in the tool, which is a really nice way to do that. So what I can do here is I can also use some of the different views. So these are here at the top. And I can use something like Bubble View, which is a great way to visualize data and see, okay, what is most connected in my graph of information. And here you'll see that obviously Mel Gibson featured in 3 of the films, so he's the largest of these nodes. And I can switch back to main view as well to see the data as I was working with it. So it's a nice way to be able to say, okay, not only can I visualize data this way, I can also use it in the tool. So just one more example. Kind of tying in everything else that we've done. So I'm going to start a new graph here, and you'll see I've got an Excel document of Google domains. I've just collected a few of them. What I can do is I can select this column. I'm just going to say copy, and when I go to the tool, I can paste that into the tool. And now I've got all the various domains. Now I'm going to run a transform that just looks up the website for each of these. And now I've got all the websites as they come out. What I can do is say, okay, well now I want to take the websites to IP addresses. So in this case, I could select each one or do select by type under the Investigate tab. But I'm just going to do Control down arrow, and now I've got the websites. And now I can run a transform to IP address. So that will run on everything that I've got selected here. So here you can see it is tying them up, and now I can see that all of these IP addresses, most of these websites are on one IP address, and there's one over here that's linked to a few different ones. So then I can say, okay, well, for this IP address, maybe the one I'm interested in, show me the location of where it's located, and you'll see that that's in Mountain View. Then, of course, you can use Bubble View again to visualize this data, and you'll see that this IP address is the most connected thing in my graph, which is a nice way to use that information. Thank you for watching this video. The idea that we wanted to get across was just that you can use the tool in a very efficient way with a few things that we've shown you today. And really, this video just scratches the surface of it. So we have over 150 transforms. There's loads of different entities that we haven't covered, as well as, of course, you having the ability to visualize your own data. But really, we hope that this video will give you enough just to be a little bit more efficient in when you are using the tool, and also give the ability to start playing with it and really get a feel for the features of it and what it can do for you and your data.
Okay, so the tool we're using today is NetDiscover. And so how we do that is we go to our terminal and we type NetDiscover -r, lowercase r, because that's going to be a range, and we plug in our network. 8.10.0, and we are a /24. And that's it. And within a few minutes, it should start pulling information. I happen to have several VMs running. That's why they're all showing the Mac as VMware. But that was a simple, quick and easy scan. However, this is a noisy scan, meaning if there's an IDS or an IPS in the mix, this is going to throw up lots of information. So a better way to do that is NetDiscover -p, and this is more of a passive scan, and it will wait till the other nodes are communicating before it finds it. So for example, let's hop over to one of my other machines. I have a server up, so let's hop over to my server. And I want to generate some traffic, so I'm going to ping something. This will simulate normal network traffic. I'm going to hop back over to my Kali, and I know that server is at 70. Because I was pinging an internet address, my gateway is showing up, and so this P is very passive. It will just review just the network traffic as it flows for it to find it. So that means if the machine that you're looking for isn't very active on the network, this will take a while to find. So that was NetDiscover. Thank you.
Greetings, my name is Thomas, and welcome to my tutorial on password hashes. I don't know if I'd call it a tutorial, basically a brief introduction. So I am going to talk about 3 different programs. I'm going to talk about John, Johnny, and OPH crack. So let's have a look at Johnny. Johnny can be found in the applications menu of Kali Linux. And you go to Kali Linux, password attacks, offline attacks, and then Johnny. And I already have Johnny running. And basically, I clicked open password file, and I navigated the file browser to this file here, desktop, Armitage activity, and then password hashes. And it is, I think there's a misspelling there, but that's okay. And this has been running for about an hour and a half. and it's brought in all but, I believe, 3 passwords. One of them might not actually be a password, so all but 2 or 3 passwords. Let's go ahead and open OPHCrack, and we'll see how it does with the same file. And it's basically the same sort of you direct the file browser at the file that you're trying to crack, and oh whoops, there we go, and then hit crack. So this one didn't do anything when I uploaded that file, and I've noticed that this OPHCrack only seems to go after certain passwords. See, now this one it almost immediately got right on it, and since it says NT password, I assume that these are only let's just hit crack there and see what happens. Microsoft passwords. And immediately shit shows up under Drake, which, yeah, that one didn't even work. So let's try this one. And that worked almost immediately. And so let's try the hashes.txt. Whoops. And that too worked almost immediately, although it did leave out a bunch of stuff. So it's interesting that these are definitely different types of files, because as you can see, one of them must be NT and the other one must be another format that's not Microsoft. Alright, so there's a quick introduction to 3 different password hash crackers. If you get a hold of some hashes and you find your way onto Kali Linux, you will have a clue as to where to begin and start cracking. Happy hacking and have a nice day.
Hello everyone, this is Matt John. Today, let's talk about Wireshark. Wireshark is a free and open source packet and protocol analyzer. It is used for network troubleshooting, analysis, software and communications protocol development, as well as education. Let's see how we can capture some packet and analyze them. From Kali Linux, you can run from either applications, then go to Kali Linux, and then go to top 10 security tools. Then you're going to see Wireshark there. Okay. Also, you can run from the CLI, the terminal. Just type Wireshark. Let's click OK for this error message. Yeah, I realize this could be dangerous. That's okay. So first of all, to capture some network traffic, you need to select a interface. For me, I have several ETH 0 and ETH1. This will connect to the internet, and the other one is internal. So I'm going to do ETH 0 first. Then just click Start. Then that is started. We need to generate some traffic. So we can open another terminal here. Let's say we can do some ping command. Ping google.com. Control C to stop it. Or I can also ping a Google DNS server 8.8.8.8. Press enter. Control C to stop. I can also do a ARP-A. This is all the IP address this computer can see. I can also go online. And try to generate some HTTP traffic. I say we go to yahoo.com. Okay, President Obama. No. Then if you want to check your mail, you can click there. Okay, let's ping my internal network. So if we do a if config, we can see one is 192.168.58.13. Okay, then if you look at ETH0, it's 192.168.59.148, which is actually I'm using that. Okay, so I have a machine called a Windows 7 machine, which have the also configured almost the same with the 192.168.59.137. Okay, so let's try to ping 192.168.59.137. Control C to stop. I can do it also MBT scan. Okay, then 2.2. Okay, let's try to find. You can try to find the net BIOS. You can also do, let's say the 192.168.0 .59.137. Press enter. So you can see is a VM-Win 7 Pro. That is the computer name. Okay, I think we have enough traffic generated there. So now let's try to stop. So just click here to stop. Okay, then you can also start to analyze the traffic. So for example, right now we can see different kinds of we have some ARP, which is to give you this is the layer 2, layer 3, information. Let's see, we can also try to see the ping traffic. We'll go to beginning. Okay, that's the DHCP DNS. We also have ICMP traffic. That's what I'm trying. If you double click it, you can see, okay, details. Okay, this is the Ethernet to this layer 2 MAC address. Okay, that's the destination where I'm going to ping. Okay, you can also the source for this computer. Okay, it's this MAC address. You can also analyze the protocol layer 3, the IP address. So we saw the source is 192.160.59.143. The destination is here. Okay. Well, that's what I'm ping. The first one here, ping. ICMP. So then the checksum, you can also learn different kinds of information. Let's say another DNS. So this is the DNS we are doing here. So this is the MAC address again, destination, and also source. The internet. We have also some flags there. Domain name. Okay. Let's look at one of the captured see one an ARP. Double click it. You maximize this. This is the ARP. Usually the broadcast when you do the ARP. So that's the IP address, the sender IP address. That's the target one. You can also see some statistics. I'm going to close this one and see. Just if you want to just close it, then you can close. You can save it. Okay, let's say you can save as one. Give a name. Scan 1. Then just save. Okay. So earlier I did some Wireshark scan. So I'm just open this called the ping R1. I can open it and then save it. Then I can analyze this as well. So also have different kinds of mainly the ping. You can do this. Let's say 8.8.8. I want to do filter. So you can apply filter and then select. Okay, so now you can only see this IP address. Okay, the source and destination. You can see it, you can double click it and then see this. Okay, so this the captured information, every single packet you can capture. Okay. That's ICMP for ping. That's the main of the ping request. You can also go to statistics, do a summary. So this will give you exactly what you're using Ethernet, what OS you are running. Then go to statistics. You can do also a packet length. Then this one, they just create and start the packet length. So this one is 100%. This is a 13. The count, the percent is 100%. Then you can also go to here and do a protocol hierarchy. So here is mainly just a IPv4. Then sometimes people also want to go change the color. So the package different kinds of color. So let's say you can change the color to different. It's a bad one. You can double click. You can change the background. Then that's the red. So you can change the background. Different kinds of. So it's easier for you to recognize. Then click OK. For some reason, this interface does not show all the colors. But the main goal is to be able to analyze different kinds of packet. So if you want to clear the filter, just click clear, and then you're back to the original packet. Okay, I hope this is helpful. Thank you.
Okay, so the tool we're using today is NetDiscover. And so how we do that is we go to our terminal and we type NetDiscover -r, lowercase r, because that's going to be a range, and we plug in our network. 8.10.0, and we are a /24, and that's it. And within a few minutes, it should start pulling information. I happen to have several VMs running. That's why they're all showing the Mac as VMware. But that was a simple, quick and easy scan. However, this is a noisy scan, meaning if there's an IDS or an IPS in the mix, this is going to throw up lots of information. So a better way to do that is NetDiscover -p, and this is more of a passive scan, and it will wait till the other nodes are communicating before it finds it. So for example, let's hop over to one of my other machines. I have a server up, so let's hop over to my server. And I want to generate some traffic, so I'm going to ping something. This will simulate normal network traffic. I'm going to hop back over to my Kali. And I know that server is at 70. Because I was pinging an internet address, my gateway is showing up. And so this P is very passive. It will just review just the network traffic as it flows for it to find it. So that means if the machine that you're looking for isn't very active on the network, this will take a while to find. So that was NetDiscover. Thank you.